For over 20 years at River Cottage, I've championed eating well and living in harmony with nature. Now, what we choose to eat and how we look after our wildlife and countryside seems more important than ever. So I'm reuniting with old friends.
Oh, that's amazing.
Your good opinion matters the world to me. And meeting new neighbours. There is a sea spaghetti and there's a sea noodle. To see how they're looking after our environment.
Is this a shoal of bream coming in?
Yes, bream and there's a sea bass.
Oh, yeah. The mussel farm is clearly a fish magnet.
And reaping the benefits of what nature has to offer.
That should do it.
And I'll be cooking up food that's seasonal.
You enjoying that? Yeah.
Sustainable, and simply delicious. So please join us at River Cottage. It's breakfast time at River Cottage, but not everyone is tucking in just yet. Until the grass grows thick and fast and becomes nutritious enough to sustain them, our little beef herd relies on a daily delivery from me and my four-legged farmhand.
All right, Nozzy. Should we go and give those cows some breakfast?
I've kept cattle for over 20 years.
Come on then, Notty.
Come on. Tending to their needs can be hard work, but it's well worth it.
Come on, fella.
My Devon rubies will eventually become the finest beef. But until then, I'm making sure they live a good life.
You enjoy rolling in that cow pat, Notty?
What's wrong with you? That's lovely hay. I know what you really want. You want your little treat, don't you? These cows, they're so indulged. They want their pudding before they've even had their main course. There, you're enjoying that now. We're still waiting for this grass to really get growing. And when that happens, I won't have to come up here and feed them every morning. But it's a ritual I really enjoy. There's something very soothing about that munch, munch, munch. You like your breakfast, don't you? Right, I'm off to get mine now. Have a lovely day. It's not just the domestic creatures that we're doing our best to look after. A few weeks back, under the guidance of bee whisperer Matt Somerville, we built a natural beehive from a hollowed-out log to give the neighbouring bees a boost. Bee populations are in decline in the UK, so we made them a perfect home where they can thrive. How completely fantastic. And now the weather's warming up, the local bees will be looking for places to start a new colony.
Hello, Hugh.
Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm standing right next to our hive at River Cottage. It's a lovely, warm, almost slightly muggy day today. There's lots of bees buzzing around the herb garden. And I'm just wondering...
Perfect swarm weather.
Do you think it's a swarmy time?
Yeah, I think it's a swarmy time.
So shall I go for it?
I think so, yeah, but not too much.
I've got the bottle here.
So you put a little bit on a cotton bud.
Oh.
Got a sort of cotton bud?
I haven't got a cotton bud.
Okay.
I've got a pastry brush. How does that sound?
That sounds like you might put a lot on. I mean, you literally just want a few drops on it.
Right. I put 2 drops on the pastry brush, and I'm brushing it straight on.
Yeah, just put a little dab inside the entrance.
Yeah. Essential oil of lemongrass mimics the pheromones released from the abdominal gland of the worker bees, which they use to entice their swarm into an empty hive. Just inside the base?
Just put it inside the entrance, like on the inner wall. It'll just give the inside of the hive a nice smell.
Got it. That's it, Matt. It's all primed up. Would it be optimistic to think we might see a bee checking it out today?
Maybe in an hour or so.
But it turns out to be only a matter of seconds. There's a bee here now. This is unbelievable. There's 2. Here, the bees have arrived. I haven't even got off the ladder. Look, there's 2. I'll just give them a bit of space because I don't want to get between the bees and their potential new home. There's another one. This is just incredible. The power of the lemongrass oil. He's having a look. I'm really hoping this is a scout and not just a foraging bee who's come in to check out the smell. I want him to go home, tell his mates, and bring the whole swarm. Come on, guys. We've made you a happy home. While the bees decide if they wish to settle in, I'm preparing myself for an important excursion. We're moving with the times round here. Tomorrow morning, I'll be heading to the River Dart, which over the last couple of years has become increasingly popular with those who relish the exhilaration of a wild swim, including me. But knowing the water is clean enough for a dip isn't something we can take for granted. So tomorrow, I'm helping out a local group doing their bit for the Dart. One thing I do know is that when we're done, we're going to have a raging hunger. So I'm going to knock up a little treat for everyone to warm us all up and boost our energy. 2 treats, in fact. I'm going to make a delicious soup and something to go with it. That something starts with a 50-50 mix of light wholemeal and cornmeal flour, which is the key to what I'm making. Cornbread is a really easy thing to put together and a lovely accompaniment for all sorts of things. The rise on this loaf will come from 3 teaspoons of baking powder and a good pinch of salt. Flaky salt, so I'm giving it a bit of a grind. Once the flours are blended, the wet ingredients are mixed together. Eggs, whole milk and natural yogurt, plus a good splash of rapeseed oil. Before the wet ingredients meet the dry ingredients and make a nice batter, I'm going to prep all the goodies that are going in the mix too. Starting with this lovely big red chilli. It's not a very hot one, and that's good because it means I can be really generous with it and put loads of colour and flavour into the cornbread without blowing anybody's head off. I'm removing most of the fiery seeds before finally dicing the flesh. That are going to put a pretty red fleck right through the cornbread. Speckles of green will come from another favourite. Oh, wow. The smell coming off these just picked chives is fantastic, and that's going to put a nice oniony bite into the cornbread. You can add little bits of chorizo and bacon if you're a meaty sort of person. I'm going to put in some corn, some actual niblets of sweet corn, which add a delicious texture as well as a lovely corny flavour. There's no need to add sugar when a grated carrot or parsnip will sweeten the bread naturally. Look at that. You can see it's going to be so colourful. The wet ingredients go into the dry to make a batter, then in with the goodies. Not forgetting the niblets of corn. Stir it all together without overworking the batter. And then it's piled into a lined baking tin. I'm not going to necessarily push it right to the edges. I want it to find its natural shape. And that's ready for the oven. Quite a hot oven, 200 degrees. While that's baking for about 25 minutes, I can crack on with my hearty soup. This is a soup for all seasons and none. It's really an all-year-round recipe from the store cupboard because the 2 main ingredients are orange lentils and frozen peas. But I actually think it's really useful to have a standby store cupboard soup recipe up your sleeve. This is that recipe. It begins with a Moorish spicy base of fresh ginger, garlic and fresh turmeric. Powdered turmeric or curry powder also works well. It's quite a recent thing that it's been so easy to get hold of fresh turmeric. And I love it. It's such a lovely flavour, and it's got a reputation for giving the immune system a real boost as well. To make it really easy to get these flavours into the soup, I'm just going to grate everything. Just taking it down till I'm almost, but not quite, grating my fingers. To release all those warming flavours, I'm sizzling them in a splash of rapeseed oil. The smell coming from those is just beautiful. Then in with the lentils and veg stock, and simmer until the lentils start to break down, which gives me time to check on the cornbread. That is looking gorgeous. The lentils are now less orange and more yellow. They're breaking down into a puree. Now's the moment to add the peas. which only need a few minutes simmering, and they're good to blitz.
I think it's nice to have a little bit of green pea texture there, so they're sort of ripped but not completely smooth. And I think that's where we're at. That's gorgeous. Lovely creamy lentils, a little bit of sweetness from the peas, and still a few almost whole peas in there to kind of pop when you chew. Really good. A hearty, spicy soup, a tasty cornbread to go with it. That should go down really well tomorrow. Now, I better go and pack up my kit.
It's great to be up early at this time of year, and I've got everything I need for a trip to one of Devon's loveliest rivers. The Dart, which is also one of my favourite places for a wild swim.
We believe that immersing ourselves in nature does us a power of good. But we're also concerned that when it comes to looking after nature, we're not always returning the favour.
A recent report on the state of our rivers found that just 14% are regarded as healthy, and for most, there's not enough data to ensure swimming is safe. What's happening here on the River Dart could help to pave the way for the rest of the country.
I'm on the lookout for signs that a little bit of science might be going on somewhere on the riverbank. Oh, look. There's a black plastic bin and a bloke standing next to it just there. I'm guessing that is Will from Plymouth University. He's got a drill in his hand. Hi, Will.
Will Blake is a professor of river catchment science and knows his way around the Dart better than most.
How's it going? You look like you mean
Good to
business.
see you.
What's that for?
Yeah, so this is a paint mixer, but we're going to use
Is
it in a scientific way to try and explore a little bit about how healthy the river gravels are here by the River Dart.
Just looking at the water at the moment, it looks crystal clear. It looks clean to me.
The rivers are very dynamic, and so we've seen the river in a low flow state on a sunny day. The water's had a chance to settle out, and so the river looks healthy, but often within the gravels and sort of what lurks beneath can be causing problems.
In order to tell us how it is doing, are you getting in the water with that attachment on your drill?
I am. It's a two-person job, so
Right.
if we take our shoes and socks off, we can crack on.
I'm not wearing shorts, but I'll just roll up my trousers
Yeah, we
in
can keep it-
time-honoured fashion.
We can keep it shallow.
Will's highly scientific gravel sediment assessment kit consists of 3 vital components: his power paint stirrer, a bin without a bottom, and a bunch of bottles.
It's actually not too bad.
You say that's not too bad. I'd say that's really cold.
Okay.
Sediment levels that are too high reduce oxygen supply to the riverbed habitat and also hold agricultural and other pollutants.
Under normal flow conditions, the water needs to be moving through the gravels, so whatever's living within the gravels, be it salmon eggs or trout eggs, they need to be fed by nutrients and oxygen from the flowing water. And so these gravels should be allowing water to flow through. If we stir the beds up just with our feet, we can see the fine sediments moving away.
Yeah.
It's very hard to measure because if we get a bottle into there, it's washing away.
So the bottomless bin will stop the sediment flowing down through the river.
Correct, yes.
I can see that working.
Yes, and that allows us to take a sample and then to make various measurements.
Great.
We're wedging the bottomless bin firmly into the riverbed so Professor Will can unleash his instrument and whip up the gravel and the sediment it's trapping.
So what we want to do is use this now to really aggravate the bed.
That's definitely aggravating the bed. I'm very glad my toes are on the outside of the dustbin.
Once the gravel has fallen back to the bottom, the suspended sediment can be sampled.
We can take this back to the lab, find out how much sediment's in half a litre, and then scale it up.
So that sediment is essentially mud and soil coming into the river. What about the issue of that carrying with it agricultural chemicals?
What we do is we quantify that, and then we look at the chemistry of the sediment and we see what's on it. We'd expect to find a reasonable level of phosphorus, which has come from agricultural activities, and in other contexts we might find industrial pollutants attached, we might find metals from mining.
Will's measurements are just part of the vital work happening here on the Dart. Other local people are also getting involved, helping to build up a picture of the river's health by volunteering as citizen scientists.
The local rivers trusts have made a big push to bring citizen scientists into the realm of river water quality, and the Darts are really active. It has a very active citizen science community.
I feel like I just heard a wahoo for citizen science,
Yeah,
which might
absolutely.
be that funky Dart steam train coming down the track.
Yeah.
Give us a blow. Let's hear it for citizen science.
As the train heads upriver, we're heading downstream, where Holly Ebony and her weekly wild swimming comrades are also at work. Holly is one of the Dart's 24 citizen scientists who regularly carry out a series of simple tests, which indicate, among other things, the levels of dissolved solids and phosphates.
You have to look through and decide which of those it's closest to for the phosphates.
Each result is diligently added to a master database, which helps improve the understanding of the river and contributes to its management.
How's it going?
Beautiful down here today.
And is your work done?
It's looking clean and well, and a little bit of data collected for the big picture.
Does that mean you're ready for the reward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Born ready.
Come on.
I've already been up to my knees, and I thought it was chilly.
In the winter, the river temperature can fall below 5 degrees Celsius.
Are we ready?
Are we diving? Or are we...
We're ready.
Today, it's still a bracing 11 degrees, which will get the heart pumping and the skin tingling.
That is fresh.
Cold water swimming has become a bit of a craze with enthusiasts like us. We're convinced it improves circulation, boosts the immune system, and generally makes us feel amazing.
When were you last in?
Yesterday.
The going in is always a bit of a shocker. It's that fact that you know you can do it.
Yes.
Some part of you now knows it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas,
Everything else disappears because
Exactly.
it's you and the river and just the cold and.
Yeah.
It seems like a good time to dish up my spicy cornbread and hearty soup.
Lentil and pea soup with turmeric and ginger. There you go.
Gorgeous. Oh, oh, what a treat. Thank you so much.
Keep up the fantastic work.
Next swim.
How are you doing there, Will? Did you enjoy it?
It's good. Now I feel converted, actually. I feel, you know, sitting here now, I feel great, actually.
Something about the cold, actually, that's just that complete removal of everything else. It just kind of takes you out of the day and you can just start again. And it's that reset. Of
It's
like,
a recalibration.
whatever.
Much more refreshing than a cup of coffee in the morning. You feel like properly alive after that.
But the idea that our rivers should be swimmable up and down the country, you know, it's almost like a right to have rivers clean enough to swim in. That's something we should be pushing for, isn't it?
It definitely shouldn't be controversial, the idea
It
that we
shouldn't
should
be.
be able to swim in the
No,
river.
that's right.
We need to keep the waters safe enough for us and everything else.
Absolutely.
Thanks to my fellow swimmers, there's plenty of data on this river, which means the Dart is in a good position to lobby for greater legal protection, which would also benefit the local wildlife.
Will, there's a designation of bathing water status, isn't there, that's seen as a bit of a lever that we can use to help get Britain's rivers cleaned up.
No, it's true. I think it's crazy that in the 21st century we have sewage pouring into our rivers, but it is a complex problem to solve. But as a starting point, designating stretches of rivers like this as designating bathing waters would be a really good starting point, because let's start where it is manageable and demonstrate that it can be done and sow the seeds, and then from then on we can progress.
We ought to be able to look after our rivers without having to think about whether we're going to swim in them or not, because so many other things need to swim in them and use them.
Yeah.
But if that's going to help get the job done, let's go for that.
For many of our more polluted rivers up and down the country, there's still too little data to help force improvement. But here on the Dart, what can be achieved when committed scientists collaborate with passionate volunteers paves the way for others to follow. Back at River Cottage, we've been luring the local honeybees to the natural hive I've made with bee man Matt. And the bee action has just gone up another level.
That is a lot of bees. So exciting. I'm going to film this for Matt and send it to him. Hi, Matt. I'm back at the log hive. Look at this. Is this the swarm that's arrived, and are they going to move in? And have we got ourselves an occupied hive?
According to Matt, this little beard of bees is a bunch of scouts taking a potential new pad very seriously. They do indeed call in the rest of the colony, and within a few days, they've moved in.
It's just so brilliant that our wild hive is now fully occupied. And Matt suggested that it's actually okay for me to remove the base and have a look inside, and that, you know, as long as I do it slowly and calmly, it should be safe. Just very gently. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at that. We've got a carpet of bees here on the bottom. Just going to gently put these guys down on the ground. I'm going to take a peek inside. Oh, that's so cool. They've actually started making some comb. This is just incredible. Just as it would be in nature. If this was a natural hollow tree, that's exactly what they do and what it would look like. You know, we're so used to this kind of regimented beehive with these frames and squares and everything so tidy. These are beautiful natural lobes of comb coming down from the top of the hive. So exciting.
But the honey in this hive won't be harvested. The bees will produce it over the summer to feed on in the winter, and they should be able to build up their numbers to 30,000 or more.
Just pop the base back, and I shall leave them in peace. These bees are going to thrive here in this natural hive. And they're just going to be the happiest and healthiest of pollinators, bringing benefits to the garden, to the orchard, and all the wild flowers that grow around here. That's a really nice feeling. See you later, guys.
When I moved to the West Country over 2 decades ago, I had a simple dream of living off the land, caring for my own livestock, and making the very best of seasonal food. We're still omnivores, but for some time now, in the kitchen, we've had a plants-forward philosophy.
We're just generally cooking a lot more veg. We still cook and eat meat here, but with the gardens being so prolific, this year we'll be growing sort of 20 different types of carrot. There's only sort of 4 main types of meat that we actually use. So much more variety, colours, flavours, textures with veg. So yeah, it really takes centre stage these days at River Cottage.
The vegans that visit us are well catered for too, but there is something we've been trying to address.
One thing I have noticed when there are vegans at the table, you do see a little bit of gravy envy. So for a while now, we've been working on a tip-top vegan gravy, and I think we've pretty much cracked it. But to put it to the test, I thought I'd ask a couple of local chefs who are super talented and see how they rise to the challenge.
Up for our vegan gravy contest are Michael Keynes, one of the UK's best-loved Michelin-starred chefs, and Harriet Mansell, one of the hottest new names in the Southwest who's gaining rave reviews for her restaurant's tasting menus.
Thank you both for being here. I'm quite blown away by your big piles of ingredients. And it's got me running a little scared, I have to say.
May the plant-based gravy action commence.
Going for less of a fresh finish, more of a sort of layered, robust herbs. So obviously bay, thyme, but sage, a little bit of smoked paprika to get smokiness. That'll go complement quite nicely with the sort of mushrooms as well.
This is a block of baker's yeast, and I'm going to caramelise it in the oven on quite a high heat, just with a touch of smoked rapeseed oil, and get that really kind of nutty, yeasty, smoky flavour out of it, which hopefully will be my secret ingredient.
Our gravies will be served with a delicious vegan lunch, Guelphs rustling up a herby, creamy celeriac and spelt filling.
Really good. Enough to beat any nut roast.
To fill up some sumptuous Savoy cabbage parcels that'll be gently braised. Also fresh from the garden, new potatoes tumbled in sea salt and a little rapeseed oil to ensure they're moorishly crispy once roasted.
So all those flavours are going to make this quite magical. I hope their gravy does it justice.
So, Hugh, how long have you been testing this recipe?
I have been working on versions of vegan gravy for a while, and then recently I thought, actually, I think we can do better, so I've revisited.
Yeah.
And then you thought, how can I get a really good recipe? Invite my friends.
You've absolutely cracked it, Michael. That's why I've been insisting on open source cooking here. Steal each other's secrets, which basically means me stealing your secrets.
The vital feature of a great gravy is a rich, deep flavour. In the absence of meaty stock and juices, we somehow need to conjure up this intensity in our vegan versions.
Actually want to not just lightly brown this veg, but actually burn it a little bit. If you think of a really good meat gravy, it's really the burnt bits of the meat, the really caramelized bits, that are then dissolved into wine and a little bit of stock and the other stuff. So we mustn't be afraid to do some burning, I think, here, if we're going to get the flavors right for this.
With my vegetables caramelizing and our stocks developing, it's time to add the other ingredients to give our gravies a flavoursome punch.
I'm not at the layering stage, so I'm going to get some port in there for a little bit of sweetness. I've got some blended tomatoes, which I'm going to use to give the fruitiness as well.
I'm going to start to get my other ingredients in. I've got some dried mushrooms here, and my chestnut mushrooms, because they actually have a phenomenal flavour, and I'm going to just try and pull the juices out of those.
I've slightly got the wind up me. They've got some really punchy mushrooms with some really beautiful herbs. There's a lot of talk of layering. I think they've got more layers than I have.
I'm deglazing my caramelised veg and mushrooms with red wine and stout for both colour and depth of flavour, while Harriet is unleashing her secret weapon.
And this is the yeast.
Yeah, do you want to try a bit?
Is it like
Get that bit there.
pleasant to eat in this kind of form?
It's crunchy.
Roasted yeast, I've never been there before.
I've got to try.
Crunchy. It's not seasoned,
Oh,
but
wow.
when you season that up.
Yeah. That I can see that working well.
Reminds me of like crispy chicken skin.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It reminds you of the burnt bits of meat, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You're definitely onto something there, Harriet.
To win over the judges, our vegan offerings must also feel and look like gravy.
I've used tomato in the base, so that has obviously had an influence. I need to get the texture right.
Isn't it really hard to get that real darkness that you get from a meat gravy? Yours is a gorgeous colour. I think mine's more toffee-coloured than gravy-coloured. There you go.
Here she comes.
This is it.
There's just time to add our finishing touches.
This is an apple aperitif, about the same kind of sweetness and alcohol level as port.
A little bit of warming nutmeg.
Oh, yeah. Last-minute aromatics.
I'm just debating whether to thicken it a bit more.
It smells gorgeous. It smells really, really lovely. Right, well done, guys.
The judging is upon us, and we're each identifying our gravy jugs with a letter.
Choose a letter from the words vegan gravy.
G.
Michael.
Viva victory.
Oh!
Our panel of gravy graders are Anton Bolton, my local butcher, Noda Mavani, an acclaimed vegan chef and restaurateur,
Thank you.
and our very own kitchen guru, Guelph.
This one first.
Michael's gravy is up first.
Pours nicely, not too thick, not too gloopy.
That's different. That's a little bit vinegary, a bit more acidic.
Slightly different to what I would think gravy would taste like. I don't know whether it's got some sort of tomato in it.
It is nice, but there was a lot of tomato in that.
Next up, jug R with my gravy in it.
Bit more runny, but still not too bad. Looks good. It's more like a traditional gravy to me. It's a little bit bitter.
This one's a much more complex flavour.
It's a nice consistency, a little bit vinegary, probably a little bit acidic, but it's OK.
And finally, Harriet's G-Jug, featuring that intriguing roasted yeast.
So it doesn't quite look smooth enough. But really good flavour.
I like the flavour of that. That's nice. But it's just a little bit runny.
This is more of like a jus texture. It's definitely doing the job, though. It's definitely lifting this dish up and making it a thing.
I like that one. I like that one. That is nice.
It's a real close call, but I'm going to go for the middle one.
It's lovely. I could drink that. I would pick that one. That's my favourite.
Only one vegan gravy can come out on top.
And here come the judges. Hi, Noda. Hi, Anton.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Who's feeling you feeling the tension?
Oh, yeah.
I am. My heart's absolutely pounding.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Gee! Harriet.
Yeah.
Wow, well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Harriet.
Thank you very much.
And well done too. Now,
Yeah,
I think we better see what all the fuss was about. Let's
on
go and
then.
taste it. That is delicious.
Yeah, that's spice as well.
You've absolutely nailed it. Can we have the recipe, please?
Absolutely.
With Harriet's top tips, our vegan gravy will be even better, and gravy envy at River Cottage should be a thing of the past. The River Cottage chefs are constantly beavering away in the kitchen, and it's important to take time out to gain fresh inspiration for new dishes. So today I'm taking Gelf, Janine, Stephen and Bob on a fishing trip. But our seas are in trouble and many of our fisheries are in decline. So if we're going to eat fish, we need to take better care of the marine environment. Ever since I've been fishing these waters, I've been on the lookout for less obvious species caught using more sustainable fishing methods, like rod and line and creel traps.
What is it?
It's cuttlefish. It's delicious. It's like squid.
And the fish you catch yourself always tastes better.
Really nice.
Today, our skipper is taking us to fish on some wrecks, 10 miles off Lyme Regis on the Dorset coast, in the hope of finding fishermen's favourites, pollock and bass. But I'm definitely keeping an open mind about what'll end up in our pot.
So, Bob, you know where we are?
The Moidart, I think we are.
What's the Moidart?
It's a shipwreck. I think it's World War I shipwreck. I've dived it a few years ago.
So where we're fishing now?
Yeah, I've
You've
dived it.
been right down to the bottom?
Inside it.
Inside,
Yep.
swum around?
Yep.
Were there any fish?
Loads.
What type?
All sorts. Pollock, mackerel, bass, everything.
So it's all down there?
Yeah, yeah, all down there. You've got to try and get on these rods, but yeah.
Do you see any really big ones?
If I do, I swim away from them. So.
Who's going to catch the first fish?
Yeah, Janine. We've all got money on Janine.
When did you last go fishing, Janine?
It was about 16, so a long time ago.
Don't say.
So what would you like to catch today?
Mackerel would be nice.
Gelf, what have you got your sights on today?
I think pollock's probably going to be... It'd be nice to get a bass, but I've never had any luck with bass.
So we can definitely keep bass today. Definitely keep pollock. If we catch any cod, probably need to go back, given the state of the stocks at the moment.
This bunch are not the most experienced sea fishers, but after half an hour, Gelf has the first sniff of a catch.
Oh, I think I've got one.
Fish on.
Gelf's in.
I'm just excited for what he's going to catch.
It's not really bouncing up and down like you would expect a fish.
Hopefully that seagull will find it.
No, I've just got one.
We're just in front of the wreck now.
I've just got a big rock.
Hey?
Oh, well done, Gelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a keeper.
Yeah.
If you want a paperweight.
Yeah.
The first fish contender is still open, yeah?
It is, Stephen. It is.
It's exciting to have a fish on the line.
Hang on, I've got a wreck, I think.
No, you haven't. That's a fish.
Is it?
Yeah,
That's a better fish.
But there's many a slip between the bite and the boat.
Smooth, nice and smooth, Bob. Otherwise you'll lose it. Smooth.
I've lost it, I think.
Yeah, you've got to keep it smooth.
I tried to do it, man. I'm knackered.
Bob.
I'm sorry. That was a big one as well.
We're not having much luck landing fish, but we are all enjoying the peace and tranquility of the open sea. And it seems we're not alone.
Oh my God!
Oh, this right here. Whoa, it's so beautiful. I'd forego catching any fish to see that. That's just wonderful.
Oh, wow, look at those. They're amazing. Absolutely blown away. Look at these guys. They're so beautiful.
I think it's safe to say they're better fishermen than we are. Whoa, so fast. Oh, and here he's again. Absolutely amazing. Just running rings around the back of the boat here. They're not bottlenose, they're not big enough, and they're not commons because they haven't got that yellowy custard bit on their flanks, but I think they might be white-beaked dolphins.
White-beaked dolphins are common further north where the waters are cooler, but there is a small population here in Lyme Bay, which is thought to be an important breeding ground for them.
What a treat!
So it's nice to think we might have just seen a loved-up couple.
Hugh, I did tell you on the way out that we definitely see dolphins today. I don't think I've disappointed.
Well, you also said we were going to catch some fish, man.
And we're just about to start catching.
Do you think they signify a change in our luck?
Almost certainly.
If dolphins are around, there should be plenty of fish down there. Whether we can catch any is another matter. I've brought the River Cottage chef team on a fishing trip in Lyme Bay off the Dorset coast, but so far it's proved unfruitful.
And that's the thing about fishing, is you can go through these long periods, days sometimes, when you catch nothing, and then suddenly it all comes right.
And just like that, our luck starts to change.
Oh, it's a bigger fish, Bob. It's a decent-sized pout. That is a keeper.
I'm not getting off.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
It's over 27 centimetres, which means we can legally land it.
That's a decent-sized pouting.
Thank you.
It's a keeper.
Double keeped it.
It's got at least one fish finger sandwich in it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Pout are members of the cod family. They're not a popular fish in the UK, but when eaten very fresh, the flesh is tender and deliciously sweet.
Hang on.
Oh,
look
that's
at
a keeper,
that.
Bob.
That is a keeper.
Yeah.
That's a pollock.
Yeah.
Well done, Bob, cleaning up.
It must be beginner's luck, because Bob somehow manages to score a hat-trick.
Oh, you got something. Look at this.
That's another pout. That's a keeper.
While it's not the most impressive haul, but with 5 chefs on board, we can make the most of these 3 fish from head to tail, try out some new dishes, and give an old favourite a new twist.
Right, let's get going. The scales and these guts are about the only thing we're not going to cook with this afternoon.
Gelf's filleting the fish, some for my little surprise starter, and the rest for Janine, who'll be frying them up in a delicious breadcrumb. The heads and bones won't go to waste, as Stephen has a plan for them.
The reason we want to use these heads is because, as good as your filleting skills are, Gelf, you've left a little bit of meat on here, which is going to be beautiful in our broth.
Yeah, I left them on there just so that broth tastes nice, Chef. I know you need all the help you can get.
Thanks, big chef.
The broth is made by simmering the heads and bones to create a rich stock, which Stephen will enhance with some aromatic herbs, while I've opted for a spicy little number.
I'm going to make a version of a South American ceviche, which is raw fish, except it sort of isn't raw because the fish actually gets almost cooked by the acidity of citrus. But this is a slightly different ceviche because I'm also using some brilliant ingredients from the garden.
I'm experimenting with rhubarb, which is thinly sliced and seasoned with salt and sugar to draw out the tart juices before adding the citrus.
I've got so little fish to work with that I must be careful not to overdo it with the juice. So for the moment, it's just a squeeze of lemon, a squeeze of orange, and a squeeze of lime. And you don't have to use all of these, but it's really nice to have a little bit of orange. It does bring some sweetness. It's an ingredient you don't always see in a ceviche, but I think it's lovely.
I'm cutting the fish into fairly small chunks, just the right size for those zesty juices to penetrate.
And we should see the fish sort of shifting from being a little bit translucent to opaque, very much as it does when it gets hot and cooked.
Added aromatics and crunch will come from finely chopped spring onions, fresh coriander, mint and celery. Plus another left-field ingredient from the garden, punchy peppery radishes.
Gelf and I have pooled our resources on our first baby radishes. They're going to be great because they're going to bring some heat, some fantastic colour, and a really nice bit of crunch.
To turn up the heat even more, I'm adding a generous amount of finely chopped dried chilli.
One more go with the orange, and now I'm going to give it all a good stir. I forgot to bring a wooden spoon, so I'm going to give it a good stir with my backup rhubarb stick. Look at all those gorgeous flavours. I'm going to stir that every 5 minutes or so, and in about half an hour, all those lovely ingredients will have gone to work on the fish, and I think we'll have a gorgeous ceviche.
Stephen's busy flavouring up his broth.
So these are some of the lovely, fragrant trimmings left over from Hugh's ceviche, and we don't like to waste anything, so these are all going to go in our broth. I think I'll add a little bit of lemon zest into this, Gelf, just to lift it a little bit. It's very important not to go down too deep. We don't want any of the pith, just want the zest.
Janine's fish fillets get the flour and egg treatment before being covered in a special blend of breadcrumbs and porridge oats for an extra crunch. To go with them, Gelf's knocking up our river cottage take on a classic tartare sauce.
You're putting some chopped egg in, nice.
Yeah, nice chopped egg just to give it a bit of texture.
Yeah, nice.
How's the tartare?
It's great. Nice bit of extra lemon juice in there just with a bit of sharpness. It's going to be great with that pout.
I'm longing to have a taste of that broth, Stephen.
It's getting a bit chilly. Shall we dish up a little cup each?
Please.
Perfect.
It smells amazing. Oh, that's really good.
Oh, that's great.
Doesn't get fresher than that, really, does it?
No, I mean, what I really like about it is it's not just a fish stock.
Exactly.
It's a proper broth.
I've never made a stock with ingredients this fresh before.
It's actually almost meaty, isn't it? It's
Can
actually
you also
really
believe
rich.
that I didn't put any salt in there at all? There's no seasoning. I tasted it and thought, I don't need any salt in here.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That was just literally the little bit of seawater clinging to the fish from rinsing it in. That's maybe one of the reasons it's so delicious, is because it's just seasoned with the seawater.
My ceviche has had time to mingle super fresh raw fish with the kick of radish and chilli and the juicy tang of citrus and rhubarb.
Tuck in.
Thank you. Hang on. Oh, yeah.
That is delicious.
That's really nice.
Do you know what? The radishes in there really work, actually.
They really do, don't they?
They've got that different heat from chili.
And it is packing a little bit of heat. Rosie, give it a whirl.
That's really nice.
That's really good.
It's actually not.
No, it's
like that. You're right.
Putting it in the broth,
That
why
lime
not?
juice.
Cook it a bit.
That lime juice. That lime juice has kicked off the.
What do you think?
That's really nice.
That is absolutely lovely.
That's a really interesting thing you've done there, and I think I approve. I'm going to try Rosie's idea of ceviche in the broth.
All these chefs standing here, Rosie, and you've just come up with a brand new dish, just like that.
It is actually really, really good. Right, Janine, come on then.
That's my.
Oh, that's got a sizzle on. That looks
great.
amazing.
There's something about frying fish, isn't there?
There is something about frying fish. Look at that, in the middle of the ocean.
Finally, Janine's beautiful crunchy crumbed fillets are served up with Gelf's cheeky tartare sauce.
But good.
Hot but good. Try that.
Let me see how wonderful this really is.
Go for it, guys.
I'm getting stuck in there.
So am I, actually. I'll try a little
That
bit.
is absolutely superb. You don't get any better than that.
It doesn't get fresher, does it?
I'll try.
That tartar sauce is absolutely amazing.
Oh my God. Thank you both. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thanks, Bob, for catching the fish.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well done, Bob.
Thank you.
You caught our dinner.
I did.
Without you, Bob, we just have a bowl of tartar sauce right now.
That's very true.
That's very true.
I wouldn't say I'm absolutely rammed full. Should we go and try another wreck?
Yeah, I think we need to go and do a bit more fishing.
Let's do it.
Not the most extravagant feast, perhaps, but we've transformed every morsel of our 3 humble fish with some great ingredients. And rhubarb ceviche with a side of fish broth is definitely a keeper. Next time,
You've got your boy racer on now.
I take to supercharged pedal power to forage for some wild delicacies.
This is a major success.
I take a trip down memory lane
This looks like the original gate.
where the new neighbours are beavering away. And with the garden bursting into life, we're dishing up a seasonal vegetable feast.
Great.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Cheers.